this ideal that the judges are putting forth. And it seems to be the judges and then also extreme female bodybuilding fans, all they want is more and more jacked muscles. Just let's almost like freakish cartoonish. And to get to that point, you're gonna start having people that almost look like monsters.
Yeah, I got some pictures of some bodybuilders. Um, this was years ago, but this
Yeah, I
picture
know.
in Brazil, yeah, yeah. And there's another one. This was a recent one, Mariana Guayaba, and she
Was
has
that
fish.
is that a dude?
That's a woman, and she
Why do you have
they
that picture of that person as a dude then?
no, but that's what they transitioned. They had
So
like
they are they're a dude. That was a
well,
dude.
woman. They were a woman first, a biological woman, but you know,
Uh,
I,
then
they
she transitioned to become a dude.
yeah, yeah. And so they took their hair out and stuff. I guess they didn't want to just stand out. Yeah, I seen that. I was crazy. Another one that stands out to me is Anastasia Kovaleva. She stands out. There's a clip of
Yeah, that's the one we had talked about. George had mentioned. Um, from this distance, I can't tell, but when I saw her close up, I was like, for how thick, I mean, how thick her muscles are, and then also how wide her shoulders and waist. I mean, I really, I question that that's a woman at all. Like, I don't, but
yeah,
that's what they're pushing more and more is and eventually the girls that look like that, if they are girls at all, are going to be the ones that win. And I would not be surprised if one day, if it keeps going that way, you find out a biological man won Miss Olympia one day, um,
you
because
think
they're
it will get
blurring
to
the
that
line.
point? You think it'll
Huh?
be to that point? You think it'll be to
I
that
mean,
point though?
if it doesn't stop, if it doesn't stop the way, then yeah, it's gonna go that way. Right now, people want to cater to that movement anyway, so no, everyone's afraid to offend people and call them out if they are.
Yeah,
Uh, and so, and then also too, like right now, what we've seen from the judges is they're just going off of muscularity, 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 vascularity for the women. They're not going for a balance of both beauty and muscularity. They've, I think when Jake Wood brought back Wings of Strength, they were supposed to be trying to do that, but that has not been the case at all. Um, and I don't know if that's his doing or I mean I think it's a lot the judges and probably a lot of money going on behind the scenes. And then there's probably there's a lot of guys in the world that are into more extreme. There are guys who are
yeah,
going to be attracted. They're attracted to trans, and they're attracted to women who basically are almost exactly like men. That's what I've been on forums and stuff and seen art and all kinds of stuff. There's certain guys out there that want the most masculine female bodybuilder they can find. If the girl is more curvy, still muscular but more curvy and soft, feminine looking, those guys aren't interested in those. So um, the judges seem to not be interested in those as well. So they tend to just keep pushing the criteria for the woman to keep chasing this more masculine look. And when it gets to that point, you know, I mean, maybe maybe a man won't end up winning Miss Olympia. I still think it may happen if it keeps going there, but you'll see it probably a man getting top three, you know. it's weird because that's the state of the world we're in.
Yeah, they not too long ago they was talking about other sports outside of bodybuilding, where there were trans women competing in women's in sports and stuff. I think they ended it like they kind of prohibited that now. Like it's a law that they not they're not able to compete in women's sports. So
Good,
you know,
because it's
from what
like
I've
the
heard,
truth is, I mean that's good, I think, because it's going to help protect the women. Because a lot of those guys, and this is something that no one really talks about, no one mainstream talks about, but a lot of those guys who are becoming trans and then competing in women's sports, at the end of the day, they're just trying to win at all costs. They couldn't win against guys, so they're going to a naturally biologically usually weaker and less strong or less less athletic uh, being in terms of just most 99% of women, and they're competing against them and then going and taking all their accolades. And people are too afraid to call it out, but the truth is it's just people, the dudes who are doing that are just people who want to win at all costs, and they're looking for that trophy, they're looking for that adoration, the admiration, and so they're willing to do it, even if it means sacrificing their sex to do so.
yeah, I didn't know that they would. I didn't know it was to that point. I remember like a couple of years back, I did notice somebody. They looked at they was a bodybuilder, and then they kind of transitioned, as a woman bodybuilder.
I
But
mean,
I
the
don't
thing
know if they
is,
competed or not.
what the thing is, why do we not see it the other way around? Why do you not see a bunch of women who transitioned into men competing against men in men's sports? You don't see that at all because they would get destroyed. Those women aren't entering those sports with that agenda in mind. They have they have their own other reasons for doing it, but we don't hear that at all. It's always men transitioning into female sports and then dominating it. So that's to me suggests that if it's only one-sided, that one side's doing it because they know they have an advantage when they do it. You know, the other side, women know they do not have an advantage if they go transition to become a man and start competing in men's sports. So,
Yeah, I, yeah, that's what I wanted you to come up on this topic. I didn't want to like cover it all by myself because I just know bits and pieces of it. Where you kind of been around bodybuilders, women bodybuilders and stuff like that. You have like relationships with some of them, and you see like the extreme and the not so extreme.
yeah, and me personally, man, I could never, I can't, I can't date any of them when they're prepping for contests and stuff like that. They just, the look just gets too hard, and it's just I love muscular girls, but it's way better to me. They feel and look way better when they're curvy, when they're still off season or plump or athletic. Um, it's just so what's messed up about them, like this is almost all of them, when they're in their bigger state, they all think they're fat. And what's crazy is even when they're in off season, they're still got less fat on them than 98% of the women in the world. They're just not small. They're not I don't want to say less fat than 98% of the women, but they got less fat. They're a lot more strong and capable and physically fit than a lot of people who have um, normal, you could say, bodies. But when they're in that bigger state, they're just constantly like, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. And it's like I've told some of them is I'm like, you're just constantly, it's like you're looking at yourself. They are perfectionists, you know, and I can relate to this being an artist, but I'm like, you all are chasing this stage look that the judges want you all to look all the time. It's like you want it year round, and then you hate your bodies when it fills out and goes into its more natural cycles. Um, to a point where sometimes when even if I'm complimenting it, they're just like, ugh, like I'm, kind of mad at me that I'm interested in, I like their body type the way it is. Um, it's so funny. I've done photos where I've drawn some of them from reference from those photos, and they're okay with me posting the drawings, but they don't want me to ever post how they actually look because they're like, no, I'm chunky, I'm too chunky. Like I don't want to be in seeing a photo. They want to always look super shredded, and what's funny is at the same time they'll all admit that when they're prepping for shows and stuff like that, their faces, they don't like the way their faces look. They're like, you'll see sometimes on Instagrams that they'll blank out their faces because it's without makeup their faces are looking really 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 hard and dry, and even if you don't want to say masculine, it looks ugly, it's too gaunt, it's kind of sickly looking. um even the male competitors when they're getting ready for their competitions. You see them the day of, they all look unhealthy up close. Yeah, you see these big muscles, but look at their faces. It looks like they're aging super fast. I'm not gonna say that they all look old, but they just they look like they're barely holding it together, you know? So
I don't know. Have you seen Pumping Iron 2 with Beth Francis and Carla Dunlap?
have I seen what now?
Pumping Iron 2, the women.
No, I didn't. If
Well,
I did, I barely remember it.
yeah. Well, I have a clip, and there was this judge, and he was critiquing Beth Francis. And, I'm gonna play it and let you see.
Every woman I've ever met has wanted to improve her body, but Bev Francis does not look like a woman. She does not represent what women want to look like.
Yeah, I'm muted. I thought you
Yeah, you
heard
were
me.
muted. No, I
Yeah,
could tell you were talking. I was trying to
yeah,
say, hey, you're on mute.
yeah, yeah. That's my bad. Yeah, I think because I put the sound in, but what I was saying, at the time, they thought she wasn't appealing, compared to the other women, you know.
She doesn't. I mean, to me, she doesn't. She does. That judge is very right when she says that women don't want to look like that. And generally speaking, even female competitors, they don't want to look like Beth Francis. She looks very masculine. And what's funny is she's way smaller than these competitors today. It's not always about size, but there is something about the look. And even the way she was strutting down the stage didn't look, um, it didn't communicate like a feminine persona, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
but,
what. Go ahead.
nah, she was well, she had a background of being a power lifter before bodybuilding, and so I think they kind of somebody she was I must say recruited to do bodybuilding, and so she wanted a coach, and so the coach kind of was teaching her the ropes and stuff like that. I think her and the coach they kind of fell in love like during the movie, but you didn't see the movie, but yeah, but yeah, I when I watched that movie, that stands out to me, you know, because I never seen it until George was talking about it, and when I seen it, that stood out to me because that's how I would say society looks at you know women bodybuilders. They hate Arnold and stuff, and he took out shows, and they say Arnold don't like women bodybuilders. So you
I
know,
mean, I think yeah, Arnold's never liked female bodybuilders, but I do think Arnold also maybe there is some people think maybe it's sexism and stuff, and I think maybe that could be the case. But he did like bikini girls, and I believe he's had figure at the Arnold figure and bikini, and I think they're including wellness. I don't know, but I don't think Arnold likes the extreme look for the women, and that's his right. He doesn't have to conform to what these other people want from him. Yes, they can get mad at him, but the truth is his expo, his fitness expo is the biggest one in the world. Like it's bigger than the Olympia Expo by far. Um, and there's still lots of other female competitors and athletes of all types there. It's just not, if you're just talking about the stage performers, it's only for the women, it's bikini and wellness and figure, you know. But
yeah,
I think when I was younger, I definitely didn't like that Arnold was against female bodybuilders, but that's also too when I was younger, I thought there were more attractive female bodybuilders to be seen, and I thought they could have chosen to pull this sport or pageant into a different direction to start getting average girls more interested. Like, um, but no, they're not. They want to keep it. To me, they want to keep it a niche. And the problem is, if you keep it a niche, it's never going to make that much money ever. It's never going to, and that's why, George and all them got to learn that they're beating a dead horse when they try to say, when Andrea Shaw is making $50,000, and then the male competitor, I can't remember who won this last year, he's making 600,000. Like, it's because proportionately, way more people are buying the tickets to see the men's show than they are seeing the women's show, you know.
yeah,
And even to be honest, that cut that they're giving her compared to what he's making could be even generous, Like, I think some of the other female competitors are bringing in way more tickets than the female bodybuilders. Now, they always say that it's because there's more competitors, but like when it comes to bikini, yeah, that's true, but there's also way more people in the world who are interested in seeing, say, bikini competitors than female bodybuilders. I'm not. I don't like caring to see the bikini ladies. I'll say right now, for me, the ladies that look the best on stage are the wellness girls, and that's a newer division that's taken over. But that is something that when girls see a wellness girl walk by, because there's several at the gym that I train at, you don't ever hear the girls saying "ooh," like or giving that look, even not even saying "ew." Like it's more like wow, like even if they're not trying to get to that level themselves, wellness girls still look amazing, you know. I do think that the judges should allow there to be a little bit more balance when it comes to the wellness girls, where they should be allowed to build up their upper bodies a little more, because I've heard of some of them having to like not train their upper bodies like weeks or like a month or even months leading up to a show, because the whole idea with them is to have much bigger lower bodies than their upper bodies. But I
Yeah,
just don't understand why with the women they can't find a balance where it's like, okay, she can have both muscle up top and lower. Still, because she's a woman, her lower body is naturally going to be bigger than the upper body, proportion wise. But why can't they still have that balance where you have, say, a physique girl upper body with a wellness girl lower body? I think that feels like the ultimate combination, and that would probably be what I think women's bodybuilding should start to morph into if they want to get more people interested in them. But if you just look at the proportions of women's bodybuilding, like over the years, um, their upper bodies are way bigger than their lower bodies, and that automatically to most people gives off the impression of a man's type of build. It's like, why is her shoulders so much bigger and her lats so much bigger than her waist and stuff? Like that's that's not a that's not a natural design with women. And I'm not saying that just because it's not natural, it can't look good. Because like they're almost all, I mean, all the Olympians are taking steroids, so there's nothing natural about it. But I'm just saying there's a way to incorporate natural design into this muscular look that they're chasing to make it just look more appeasing to people, and not just make it to be about where only extreme schmoes and a very small community of people like those women.
yeah. Have you ever been to like a natural bodybuilder show like the OTB?
Yeah, I've been to several. And with them, I mean,